All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into a piece of tech that's been quietly changing the game, cramming an insane amount of computational power into these tiny little boxes. Yep, we're talking about AI Mini PCs.
I mean, just think about that for a second. The ability to run really complex AI tasks, not on some far-off cloud server, but right there on your desk, in a box that's literally no bigger than a book. That's the promise we're going to unpack today.
So what are we really talking about here? Well, at its heart, an AI Mini PC is a small computer, sure, but it's been specifically built and armed to the teeth to handle the heavy lifting of AI. We're talking machine learning, real-time data crunching, and a whole lot more, all happening right there in front of you.
Look, if you've ever seen a little computer like an Intel NUC, you're already halfway there. Now just imagine taking that small, convenient form factor and just supercharging it with specialized hardware that gives it a massive boost for all things AI.
So what kind of hardware are we talking about? What's the secret sauce? Let's pop the hood and see what really gives these tiny powerhouses their punch.
First up, you got the CPU, right? The central brain of the whole operation. And listen, these are not your average everyday processors. We're talking seriously high-end chips. Intel's 12th or 13th gen Core i7s and i9s, or AMD's killer Ryzen 7000 series. These are absolutely crucial for the heavy-duty general-purpose work that AI apps need.
And then you have the GPU. Now, a lot of these models come with integrated graphics that are perfectly fine, but the real magic for visual AI, like image recognition or serious creative work, comes from a dedicated, discrete GPU. Think something like NVIDIA's RTX series, which gives you a massive performance boost for anything graphically intense.
And of course, you need the right memory and storage to keep up with all that power. We're usually looking at 16 to 32 gigs of RAM to make sure everything runs silky smooth, and that's paired up with a super fast solid-state drive, or SSD. That combo is just vital for pulling up those huge data sets that AI models feed on.
But you know, it's not just about the core specs, it's also about how incredibly versatile these things are. They're usually packed with ports to connect to everything from new monitors to old-school industrial sensors. A lot of them are built tough too, rugged enough to handle the vibrations on a factory floor. And they do all of this while sipping power, which makes them perfect for remote jobs.
Okay, so we know what's inside the box, but what does that actually mean for you in the real world? What are the practical things you can do with all this AI power?
Well, the biggest advantage here is doing all of that processing locally or on premises. See, when you run AI on a machine that's right in front of you, you get almost zero lag or latency because the data isn't traveling to some server halfway across the world. Plus, your data stays with you, which is a huge win for privacy. And get this, you don't even need an internet connection for it to work. That is a total game changer.
And all that local power opens up some pretty amazing possibilities. In a factory, for instance, that super low latency means you can do real-time image recognition to spot tiny defects on an assembly line. It can become a smart gateway for your Internet of Things devices, processing sensor data right there at the source. And for creatives, it's a powerful little workstation where your sensitive project files never ever have to leave your desk.
Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like any cool new tech, these AI Mini PCs come with their own set of challenges. So let's get real for a minute. What's the catch?
You know, one of the very first problems you might face is the most basic one. You've put it all together, you're excited, you hit that power button, and nothing. Crickets. It happens.
Before you panic, it is almost always one of these super simple things. Maybe a little power switch on the back isn't flipped on, or a cable is a little loose, or a stick of RAM isn't pushed in all the way. Just double-checking that everything is seated firmly is usually all it takes.
But beyond just getting it to turn on, there are some bigger limitations to think about. I mean, a mini PC, even a really powerful one, is not going to beat a full-sized desktop in a raw horsepower contest. You might run into some weird hardware compatibility issues, and let's be honest, some of the AI software can be really tough to learn. Oh, and the high-end enterprise software? Yeah, that can come with some pretty hefty subscription costs.
But even with those challenges, the future for this technology is pointing straight up. So let's talk about where this is all going and just how big the future of small computing is going to be.
Just take a look at this number for a second, 22.6%.
Now, that's not a one-time jump. No, that is the projected growth rate every single year for the better part of the next decade. That is absolutely explosive, and it signals a huge shift in how we think about computing.
So, what's fueling this fire?
Well, it's basically a perfect storm. The demand for AI and automation is just skyrocketing everywhere. You've got new fields like healthcare and education jumping on board. We're seeing amazing new hardware, like dedicated neural processing units, or NPUs, which are chips made just for AI. And on top of all that, governments around the world are pouring money into AI.
This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? AI Mini PCs aren't just little computers anymore. They are becoming the core building blocks of the smart systems of tomorrow, the local brains in our smart factories, our smart cities, and even our smart homes.
So that really leaves us with one final thought. As this incredible power gets smaller, cheaper, and into all of our hands, the real question is, what's the first problem that you would solve with your very own personal AI powerhouse?